All right, here we go. It says classify each triangle by its angles and by its sides. Well, you got to know by its angles. What are some names of that we would call triangles by its angles? Let's write a few down just to remind. Everybody paying attention up here? Okay, obtuse by its angles, right? Because it would have an obtuse angle, right? Greater than, yeah, equiangular would be one. So equiangular, yeah. A right angle or right triangle. What other kind? Missing one. An acute, right? I think that's all, isn't there? Okay, so that's how you classify them by their angles. If you classified it by their sides, what are some words that we use to classify triangles by their sides? Isosceles would be one. Scalene would be another one. Good. Equilateral, right? Okay, so equilateral. Oops, that's supposed to be an L. Sorry. Trying to write too fast, guys. Are there any other ones by the sides? I think that's it, right? All three sides, no sides, two sides. That covers everything. This is an obtuse angle. This is all the angles are equal. This is one right angle. This is all three acute angles. Okay? So let's take a look at this. ABD. ABD. I've got one. This is marked with one line. This is marked with one tick mark. And this is marked with one tick mark. So let's do by the, I don't know, by the angles. Because it says angles then sides, right? So number one, I'm going to put the angles first, then the sides. So if we're going to classify it by its angles, you could have actually a couple different answers for this. Okay, because look, all three angles are what type of angles? Acute. So I could call this an acute triangle, or I could call it equiangular, right? Because they're all the same, right? If all the sides are equal, all the angles are equal. So I could call it equiangular if I wanted to. I'm not going to put down every version of this. What about the sides? Again, you could have two answers for this. You could say equilateral, right? That's probably what I would put since all the sides are equal, equilateral. Or you could say isosceles, right? Because isosceles, at least two of the sides are equal. So I could say isosceles. I said I wasn't putting all of it. Oh, that's supposed to be a C. I'm writing terrible today. You could say equiangular, couldn't you? Equiangular. You don't have to have all four of them, all right? If you just have this, that's good enough, all right? Or any combination of that. Everybody with me on that? All right, what about ABC? ABC is from here to here to here. All right, let's look at that. Let's take a look at the sides. This is a right angle, by the way. It's kind of small here, but if you look at your test, you'll see that that's a right angle. So what kind of triangle by its angles is triangle ABC? It's a right triangle. I can't believe how many people miss that one. There's a lot of people that miss that one. I forget exactly what you put, but I do remember thinking, how did they not see that that's a right triangle? I didn't see it because there's a right angle right there, so it has to be a right triangle. It can't be isosceles. It can't be acute. It can't be equiangular. The only thing it could be is a right triangle. Okay, so it's a right triangle. What about by its angle? By its sides, I'm sorry. Look, that has one tick mark. That has two, but we don't know what that has. And this one right here. Do I know that any of the sides are equal to each other? I don't. So if I don't know any of the sides are equal, I would say it's scalene. Make sense? Now, on the midterm, let me just give you a hint. If I had a problem like this, see how there's 3 different questions for the same one? There's 40 problems on the midterm, okay? You have almost 100 problems out of all the tests that we've taken up to this point. I'm not going to pick all 100 problems, okay? So I got to leave some out. So this is probably what I'll leave. I'll probably give you one of these and not the other 2, right? Does that make sense? Like right here, it says find measures 1, 2, and 3. I may only ask for 2 of these instead of 3 of them. You know, that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? All right, because I'm only going to have 40 problems on there. So I will be leaving some out. So every problem we go over here may not necessarily be on the test. All right, let's keep going. Number 3, BDC. Where is that? That's B up there, right? BDC is this one. Watch this. It's from here, everybody see that? To there, to there. So it's that triangle right there. So first of all, By its angles. What kind of triangle is this by its angles? It's obtuse, right? They make that pretty deliberate, right? That's definitely an obtuse triangle, so I would say it's obtuse. What about by its sides? Yeah, because look, that's got one tick mark and that's got one tick mark. Do you see it? So this triangle, these two sides are equal to each other, so we say it's isosceles. We good? All right, enough of that part of it. Let's get rid of this. And I'll tell you what, let's get rid of all those marks. And let's go to number 4. Here we go. Again, it's kind of small, sorry, but this side is this side's got one tick mark, so does this one, and we're trying to solve for x and the measure of each side. Do you see it? A lot of you guys are just reading just a little part at a time, and you're not reading everything. It doesn't just say find x. It says find x and the measure of each side. Everybody got that? I'm not going to ask you who forgot to do that on the test, but I'm sure a few of you will raise your hand, because if I remember right, remember a lot of people found x, but they didn't find the lengths of the other side. So let's find x first, though. Now look, this side is equal to this side, so we're just going to set them equal to each other and then solve for x. So that's the length of those two sides. Let's solve for x real quick. Subtract 2x from both sides. That'll be a 2x. Add a 21, and that's what? 14. Solve for x, and that's 7. So that's part of our answer, but it's not everything. We have to find the lengths of all three sides. Look, these two sides are the same. So if I find one, the other one's going to be exactly the same thing. Let's just plug it into this. This is 2x minus 7. Well, x is 7, right? So I put it in for here. 2 times 7 is 14, minus 7 is 7. How about that? Am I doing that right? I don't have my answers in front of me. Is that the right answer? Okay. I just don't remember that being the same. Okay, so AB is 7. So what I would do, if I was to write this on a test, I would put AB equals 7, so that I know exactly what side. What about BC? Without doing any math at all, what's BC? It should be 7, right? Because these two sides are equal to each other. So without doing any math at all, I just say BC is 7. Let's find AC. AC is x minus 3, or 7 minus 3, which is 4, and then there it is. See everything that's circled? X equals 7, and all three of those. So you really had 4 answers to this, didn't you? You didn't just have x, you had 3 sides and x, so you actually had 4 answers to that. You got to get all 4 right to get that problem right. You okay with that? Because they all intertwine, they all deal with each other, you know, so you should be able to do that. All right, number 5 is kind of the same thing. Just for time's sake, let's just not do number 5. It's pretty much the same. Look, all 3 sides in this case are equal to each other, aren't they? So I could set any of these equal to each other. I could set these 2 equal to each other right here. I could set these 2 equal, or I could set these 2 equal. It doesn't make any difference. You'll still get the same thing for x. Once you get x, then what do? Plug in here, plug in here, plug in here. Actually, you don't even have to plug it in 3 times. You plug it in once, then guess what's true about the other sides? They're all equal. Okay, so you don't have to do the math the one time. We getting this? Okay. All right, I retried drawing this thing again, but it's probably better just looking at this. Anyway, I've got 58 degrees. This is angle 1, this is angle 2, this is angle 3. This is 35 degrees, this is 39 degrees and 58. Okay, so what are we trying to do? Find each measure. Find angle 1, 2, and 3. All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. What would be the easiest one to do? Probably 2. Yeah. Actually, angle 1. Let's do angle 1. Because remember that exterior angle theorem? Okay. This is an exterior angle. Watch. If I took this triangle right here and I extended the side, guess what I would get? I would get angle 1. Well, what's the exterior angle equal to? Do you remember? It's the sum of the two remote interior angles. That's right. So to find angle 1, really, all I got to do, what's my math? 58 plus 39. That's right. So 58 plus 39, that's a 7, that's an 8, that's a 9. So that's 97. Okay, so angle 1 is 97 degrees. Does it make sense? Okay, so it's nice to know that exterior angle theorem. Makes it really easy. It's just a simple addition problem. All right. What about angle 2? since I got angle 1 to be 97, what's a real easy way to find angle 2?
Subtract 97 from 180.
How'd you get 180?
Because it forms a straight line.
Very good. It forms a straight line right here. Do you see that? 1 and 2 forms a straight line. So if I know this is 97, this is going to be what's left over from 180. So I just go 180, this is angle 2, equals 180 minus 97. And so that's a 3, and that's what? A 7, and that's an 8. So that's 83. Is that right? So angle 2 is 83 degrees. All right, now I could find angle 3 because I know 83 and I know this is 35. How can I find angle 3? Yeah, add these up and take them away from 180. That's right. So let's do that. So, oops, 83 plus, let's do it right here, plus 35 is, what's that, 118? Is that right? Did I do the math right? Yep. So if I add those up, I get 118. How do I find this? Take it away from 180. So 180 minus 118, that's a 2, carry, borrow, whatever. That's a 6, right? So 62 degrees. So that angle 3 is 62 degrees. There's probably other ways to do it, but that's how I chose to do it right there. Make sense? I hope so. Look, I'm doing this for your benefit, right? Some of you guys look like I'm killing you to do this. I'm trying to help you. Didn't you? Do you realize that? I don't know if some of you do. I think some of you think I'm just trying to make things extra hard for you, but I'm really trying to help you out. Let's do number 9. Let's just scooch this up a little bit. Let's look at 9. This might be the last one we do. It says polygon ABCD is congruent to polygon PQRS. All right, so these two polygons are congruent to each other. So let's see. Trying to think of a... Okay, let's do it like this. Watch. ABCD is equal to... So the A and the P are equal to each other. Do you see that? That's a nice way to do this. So angle A is first, angle P is first. So angle A and angle P are equal to each other. So this is equal to this right here. Yeah? And so that's 2x plus 4 equals 100. I don't have to sit there and say, okay, what did we do to that polygon? Did we flip it? Did we twist it? Did we turn it around? What did we do to it? It doesn't matter. All I got to do is look up here. This stuff right here is really important to you. A and P are first, so they're equal to each other. So I take this, which is 2x plus 4, set it equal to angle P, which is 100, and now I can solve. So 2x equals what? 96. And x equals, what's that, 48? All right, so that's our first answer. They just say solve for x, so it's 48. How do I solve for y? Well, look at this is a y right here. DC. Look up here. DC or CD, right? It's the last two. So come over here and look at the last two. RS. Which one's RS? It's 12. So 12 and this one right here are equal to each other. So you go 3y minus 3 equals 12. And then you just solve for y. It's pretty easy. Yep, that's 15 divided by 3. Y is 5. Good. And there it is. That's x and y right there. 2 problems. Nice and simple. Does it make sense? I'll tell you this. On the midterm, I won't put any of the proof stuff. Okay? I probably should, and I probably won't give you this one either. All right? So what I'll do at home, listen to me. At home, I'll finish up this test. We'll call it Part B, Chapter 4, Part B. And I'll do 14 through 20 at home. Put it on YouTube. You can go look at it, and you can figure out how to get these answers right. Okay?